Hey, it's out there. Everybody turn around. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Yeah, I got it. Item 2, public comments. Anyone wishing to address the council, please step to the podium. Yeah, public comments. John, like I said, 3 minutes.
This is scary. I really don't like
Oh,
public meetings.
God.
I was just in Grand Marais and they told me to get my ass out of there. It was really bad. But St. Joe has been a great town.
John, if you wouldn't mind, name.
John
address.
Petters.
Thank you.
I've been involved in St. Joe as an investor, passionately, lost sleep. I've worked on some senior housing over here, which is a wonderful little community. I worked on Millstream Shops, where we have an Italian restaurant, the best ice cream shop in Minnesota, not from Wisconsin. We have people that live there. We have employees, and it's been pretty cool. Most recently, I was involved in Bayou Alley Flats, which is the 3-story building where we have a great restaurant. We were very lucky to get people that had soul and spirit. And I'm here to talk about Rick. And it all has to do with this town. And I want to thank Rick. I have notes. I can't read. Sometimes Rick is way off in Never Never Land. Sometimes he's right there. But Rick has been a big part of this town and how it's evolved. It's about people that have passion. I used to have an office in Minneapolis. It was fun. I had an office in St. Cloud. It was fun. But when I was a little kid, one of my favorite experiences on Sunday was going to Linneman's, talk to Epsy to get 2-for-1 penny candy. I remember that. He was friendly. He was welcoming. First car I ever bought was from Ray Krebsbach. I traded him my 55 Ford, blew up on the way out, and I upgraded to a 57 Chevy. Then I bought a new car from him. This town draws people. I'm not a resident, but I love this town. It's not a big town. Big towns have neighborhoods. We have our tribes. St. Joe is a big neighborhood, and it's a wonderful one. And in the last 15 years, we've had a number of things that have been wonderful happen. And Rick, I want to thank you for helping guide this town, welcoming people. Sometimes he tried to kick me out, grab me one time by the arm, but it was probably necessary. But it needs, a town like this needs someone involved, whether it is staff or residents, who have passion, relationships. When you look at a town sometimes or a business and you say, it's not personal, that's bullshit. It is personal. If you're a small entrepreneur and you're going to be somewhere, you want to know who you're going to be working with. You want to know who you can call. In this town, I can call Lori. Say, hey, Lori, you know that check I was supposed to send you 2 years ago? She'll go, oh, yeah. She'll fill me in and we figure it out. If I want to talk to the St. Joe Police Department because something's funny going on, I can call the chief of police and he might be out hunting, but he'll answer his phone. He will help. This is a wonderful town. And Rick, you've been here a long time. And I want to thank you for your service to this community. You have a lot to be proud of, and I still have a minute left. Thank you, Rick. The other thing I want to talk about is I know that on the agenda, the city is looking at having an outside service to come in and help them with economic development. I think there's a place to find out about what the latest Minnesota Housing Finance Agency package is for housing, or maybe a Greater Minnesota Housing Fund. It's impossible for somebody working 40% of the time to understand all of those things. But I got to tell you, in a town like this, an entrepreneur, a business that's thinking of coming here, they want to know who's going to say, yeah, you're welcome. And Nate is the guy who's been doing that. And I want to thank Nate also for doing that. And I hope that you don't lose that amazing person who has a soul and a connection to the people and is dedicated to this town. Thank you.
Thanks, John. Anybody else? Public comments?
Mateo McBee, crew, Flower, soon to be Joetown Smash Burgers. I would just like to echo kind of what John is saying, that, you know, we came and looked at this community as a community of, did we think that we could be a part of it? Did we think that what we were bringing could add value? Our mission has always been about community. It's always been about building. It's always been about bringing diversity into communities and making them better than they were. As you all know, a lot of small towns in this not only state, but country are dying. And embracing diversity, you can look, especially around this state and right here in St. Joe, embracing diversity is what has allowed us to be able to flourish. I'm try to be a very humble person, but we have put a spotlight as far as Crew and Flower on this city, not only nationally, but internationally. And I have to say that Nate is a very big part of why that happened. And so my relationship with him and knowing the diversity in his family makes me feel a little bit more at ease living in a community like this, knowing that somebody who has at least a similar vision or eyesight into the world as I do allows me to have a much better communication with somebody who I know their family, their upbringing, and where their values and morals lie. And so I would just like to voice my opposition to not having Nate involved in this. He's been very instrumental in the communication with us and asking us what we need. And if there's anything that we need and anything, he's always been available for us to be able to call and have a person that I see usually on a monthly basis inside of the restaurant coming to us and asking us those things on a personal level. And I value relationships over anything else in our businesses. So I just want to say thank you to Nate. Thank you for Mayor Rick for doing what you've done, and congratulations on your way out. But also I'd just like to voice my support for Nate and keeping him in the position that he's in. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing to speak?
I'm Jessica Turner. We bought the old grain elevator in St. Joe. To piggyback off what they've been saying, we've been dealing with the GSDC and lately they've disappeared. Nate's never disappeared. Anytime we need something, Nate is there. Nate is, when we're not asking for information, he's providing information. Try this, try this. We're two women that are just trying to bring our dream to fruition. We got a big dream and we don't know which way we're going. Without him, we would be lost. I mean, he brought us to this GSDC and, you know, but he still is our go-to. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else?
I also came to check out with I'm Julia Kringle. I own the Perfect Fit in St. Joe Health and Wellness by the Meat Market. I wanted to hear more about what was on the table with whatever their abbreviations are, sorry. But I wanted to know more too, because I work so well with Nate. He's taken time to get to know my business and what I need and some potential offerings that I thought would be valuable to the city. And he was available to hear me out and see if it would be a great option for St. Joe. And that is what that partnership with the city is why I brought my business to St. Joe and didn't have it in another town, because I really wanted a community that worked together. So I'm just kind of feeling out what the proposal was tonight as well, to see if it's of any value, but I still like local, and I'm not open as much to someone who doesn't know our community coming in and trying to develop it their way.
Thank you. Anybody else? See no one else come forward to move on. Item 3, approval.
To approve agenda.
Second. Motion and second to approve the agenda. Issues or concerns? All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Item 4, consent.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion and second on consent agenda. Any issues or concerns you want to pull? All those in favor signify by aye. Opposed, motion carries. Item 5. David?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, council members. Again, it looks like this is the agenda item that everybody is here to hear about tonight. So I guess what I will do is I'll give a little bit of the background here. I touch on it here in the staff memo. So I have been approached by the GSDC president, Natalia Bauman, about the possibility of partnering with the GSDC for fractional economic development services. They are exploring offering this type of service for their member cities. There would be some buy-in or something along those lines that would be required. Exactly how that would work and what it would look like, we don't know. And that is why I wanted to get some feedback from the council and get the direction before I spent a lot of time and effort into researching this and bringing something back. So with that being said, I think there's been maybe a lot of projections as far as what this might be. I mean, this, from what I'm getting from this, we're not looking at replacing positions. We're looking at potentially modifying positions if there would be services that they might be able to do or help us with or whatever. Like I said, we don't know exactly because we haven't fleshed this out. But so I think there's been a bit of a maybe an assumption that that we're looking at hiring GSDC and then replacing our staff. That is not what I've been, that's not the indication that I've gotten from my initial conversations with Natalia. We're looking at seeing what this could do and how that could be of service, because it is something, I said, we are a member of the GSDC and it is something that they are looking at offering. I understand that, excuse me, I understand that they do have a tentative agreement with another city in the area here that they're looking at. I'm not sure how that's been fleshed out with them yet or not, but it's something that they are offering. It's something that other cities are looking at. And I quite frankly think it's something that's worth exploring to see if it is of a benefit to us. I still feel that way. So that's why I'm putting it before the council, see what the council thinks about that and if this is worthwhile to explore. So with that, I will take any questions. That is my staff report.
I think my biggest comment would be, as I saw this on the agenda, and I'm the type of person that reaches out to the residents to see what they think and what kind of interaction that they have had. And I didn't know that businesses were going to be stepping forward, which thank you so much. This is what I want. This is what we want to see is involvement, and that you're keeping an eye on us. Is very important. And my opinion in this process would be not only, as I heard tonight, that he is interjecting the hometown feel for St. Joe, Nate has. He's developing the position. And this council had voted down a support position, part-time, part position, to be able to look at possibilities for Nate to maybe grow and work with the administrator to be able to maybe separate some of his duties so he could really palliate the city more and give his service more to the city. I think he is doing a good job. Looking into what this proposal is, they do an amazing job. They train, what's her name again?
Natalia.
Nanette, thank you. Looking at what they offer, but I think there's just a lot of irons in the fire, with that. I don't know if they would be able to really give St. Joe the family approach. And that's what I love about St. Joe. This is why I've lived here for 34 years. And so I'm nervous in the sense that if we looked at something that they're not even sitting their tushy in this building. And they get to decide for St. Joe, and I know Nate doesn't live here, but he's invested here. And so I'm very uncomfortable with that thought process of looking at I wouldn't say a company, they're doing an amazing job training businesses and that, and I think that's where they need to focus on more and stay with. And not be branching out into looking at trying to support cities that they don't belong to and haven't invested in. That's my opinion.
I would agree with a lot of what Kelly said. And my few thoughts and questions would be is how is this going to more finitely impact us as like a city, Nate's position? Because a lot of this seems very just like overhead and like brainstorming basically, like it doesn't give us a lot of just precise actions, what they would be doing, what would be expected of Nate in relation, like what we're compensating them, how that would affect Nate. I understand that this is very preliminary, but I would just like to have a lot more information presented to us as a council in the city. So like we can understand this better as how it's gonna affect our city and Nate and everybody.
May I have the opportunity to speak or after the rest of the council speaks?
No, Nate, not tonight.
I kind of agree with, looking forward to more information. I mean, this is minuscule information that I would need to even, commit to something like that, but with more information, and I don't know if there is more information out there. Or, the nuts and bolts of the situation.
Well, I guess if I may answer that question, and that is really why I was bringing this forward here at this point, is because if this is something that we want to look into, or if it's something that I think because the answer is we don't know the answers to that. I mean, I can't give answers to that, is because it is a like for example, like Adam said, it is still a very high level idea of this. So before I would put in a lot of time and effort into trying to flesh this out to bring that, I want to see, is this something that we're looking at that we would be interested in pursuing, and how that would work and how that potentially would either benefit us, work with us, or whatever. It's like, so like I said before, as far as the idea of replacing staff or whatever, that's it's way too early to talk about it. I'm not looking at bringing this forward and saying the council has to vote on this tonight, and it's going to mean that excuse me, staff is going to be replaced, or that. What I'm asking is this something that would be worthwhile into exploring further in bringing back these types of answers? Because we don't know these right now. It's an idea. Again, why I'm bringing this forward is because we are a member of the GSDC. It is something that they are proposing to really all of their cities, as far as I could tell, that are part of them. And that's something that they're looking at doing. So or a potential offering. So is it worthwhile for us to explore that further? Personally, I think it's, I don't think there's anything wrong with exploring it, but I'm not going to die on that hill either.
So I appreciate all the comments tonight. I think this gets tabled. I think we've explored it enough. And I think, David, you and Nate need to look at, is there too much on your plate? That's a valid question, Nate. Do you have too much on your plate? Just like we're talking about a fire study, is there a way to organize our fire department services and medical calls and whatnot better than what we do? And I think sometimes you are stretched with planning, community development, EDA, on and on and on. But there's no question what we've experienced in this town in the last several years has been a impressive expansion of business. And a lot of businesses that care about this town and care about you. So I just think we're going through an election tomorrow. We'll have seated a new mayor and some new councilors. And we can bring this up. We could bring this up at another time. That's my recommendation.
May I respond?
So the question before us today is, can David continue to pursue what this might look like, even if we table it to new leadership is here?
Yeah, I think so.
I say no. I don't want him wasting his time on it right now. We can ask him to look at it when we go through the next budget cycle. This wasn't even in the budget.
If I may.
But we're not
and-
changing the budget.
if-
Rick, isn't a table normally according to parliamentary procedure supersede any other action if there's a second?
It's gotta be a second to it.
Motion.
I first would like to make a comment. As it says on number 2, it says that the speakers that come up should not be talking about regarding items not on the agenda, and you let that happen, Mayor. He has requested to at least say something. I don't know why you don't let him. You know, if you can disregard in bold letters right there regarding not the items, which I'm appreciative that you did. Thank you for that. But this man has asked to at least say his say, and I don't know why you won't let him.
Not tonight.
Why?
That's the mayor's choice.
That's the
He's
mayor's choice.
Chair of the.
I have a difficulty with that, and I just want to go on record that we are a weak mayorship. And I don't know why, if one council member is requesting something, that can't be happening also. So that's my comment.
You want to table it?
Yeah, I moved to table it.
I second.
Motion and second to table. All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Aye. Motion prevails. It's tabled until what time?
Till we see a new government.
So Wednesday.
No,
No.
no. we-
Getting around, Dave.
Until
January
January.
1st.
No, it's
It'll be February or March. Let's table it till March.
Just for clarification, who voted for and against?
1, 2, 3, Bob and I again.
3 and 2? Okay, thank you.
All right. Anything from departments? Okay. I have nothing. Counselors, anything?
Well, I would be remiss with all of you sitting here if I wouldn't mention get out and vote if you already have.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
Motion and second to adjourn. All those in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Opposed? You're adjourned.